what did these phrases mean? I didn't start to study them until they stopped, because I thought that more information would come. But the insights were in these phrases. We're here to tell you to continue doing what you are doing. That doesn't mean just do the same thing. That means continue and part of a continuum.
Mm-hmm.
The next phrase is what you're doing is bringing light and information onto the planet. Why didn't they say light and love? You know, like everyone signs their letters, light and love. But if you speak to someone who had a life after death experience, the real one, not the people who died 6 times, they'll tell you that that light is love.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a redundancy when we say in light and love. We just don't know it's a redundancy because we don't have the experience consciously of what that light is. Why didn't they say energy, light, and information like the qualities of a photon? Well, they didn't say it because the energy was already here. Continue doing what you're doing, which is working with the energy. Continuum, the energy into the light, into the information. What you're doing is reconnecting strands. What you're doing is reconnecting strings. I thought they were the same things. Some intelligence is talking to us from somewhere using the English language. Strings and strands sound similar. They give the same stringy, strandy kind of visual feeling. I knew it meant strands of DNA. Somehow I knew. It was years later until I heard of string theory, simultaneous planes of existence. Now, what do strings and strands have to do with one another?
We're going to take a break and come back and find out.
Okay.
Back with you for the last part of the program. Glad you came back with us. We're having quite a fascinating conversation with Eric Pearl, and during the break, Eric, it was pointed out to me what was happening here.
That your fingers, especially your index finger, I think it was, I don't remember which hand at this point, was continuing to move. I mentioned to you once and you didn't notice it, so I just let it go because I could see it. But when the camera crew pointed it out to you and you had to say, well, I didn't even feel it happening.
No, I didn't.
And the fact is, it's rather unusual for us to think that our finger could possibly be moving like this and us not know it.
What does that usually mean?
Well, these are what I call registers. It's the way your body registers or demonstrates that you've been interacting with the reconnective healing frequencies. This is part of the reason that the reconnection has so much research behind it. We've been doing research at the University of Arizona, research with Dr. Gary Schwartz. William Tiller has some ongoing research happening with us. Just received an invitation to work at Jackson Memorial Hospital and the University of Miami for some clinical research, because this is so clearly and distinctly different than energy healing or any form of technique healing. This allows us to go beyond technique, to transcend our techniques and let go of them, and access something broader that includes what our techniques in healing allow us to access. And some of the evidence in this that they see consistently are the involuntary registers and movements once you've interacted with these frequencies. They bypass the brain, so you're not aware that they're going on until they're pointed out, and then only sometimes we're aware. We also can't necessarily stop them. If we have someone lying down, and we've done this in controlled, double-blinded, randomized studies, if someone lying down, and either I will or one of the people that we teach how to do this work will bring their hands in near that person, their eyes will start to go into involuntary movement. Half the time they won't notice that their eyes are moving like that. We'll point it out, they'll feel it, then we ask them to stop, and they can't, because it's an involuntary register. This is part of the way that we teach. Remember I told you in the beginning, I said people would say, teach us. And I said, there's no way, I don't know how to teach it. But what we found out was that once you interact with this, you begin to carry it. So at the seminars that we give, and we're giving one here, I don't know when your show was airing, but we're giving one here, now, aren't
Tomorrow.
we? Tomorrow. Tonight. What we'll do this evening is we'll do live demonstrations of the healings on volunteers, and we'll talk about the history and the research behind this and some of the theory, and maybe even take some Q&A if there's time.
Questions and answers, yeah.
Question and answers, yes.
I'm thinking DNA,
Q&A. Q&A. No, not DNA. A little swab, like some Q&A. Saturday and Sundays, that's when we teach the seminars. And I warn people, don't come to the seminar if you think we're all going to sit around, hold hands, om, and sing, spirituals. We're not. It's a serious learning seminar. I demonstrate the work. We have one massage table for every 4 people, and we'll then go on to the tables in groups of 2 or groups of 4, demonstrate what's going on. I'll walk around to the tables with the teaching assistants. We'll make refinements. Then we talk about it. We then demonstrate the next level. We go back to the tables. It's a working weekend, but you will attain mastery by the end of the weekend if it kills you. I'll go on to the next city, but it's definitely a working seminar. This is my personality, and anyone will tell you I don't get prettier, but I do get the work done. Strings and strands.
Yes, back to that, thank you. Yep.
Think of a computer. Most of us have computers at home. Computer is a hardware. Within that hardware, we have a little software program running it. We're able to access information that's on the computer, and the computer is also able to access information that's out there in the internet somewhere. Our brains work the same way, not the way we've been taught. We don't have memory here and learning here and this here and that here. They're not compartmentalized like that. First of all, they're diffuse also throughout the brain. And secondly, the information that we access, much of it, like the internet, is in what's called zero-point field. It's in the field, and our brains access this information and bring it in. So we have what's in the brain we can access and what's outside, just like the computer. We put new software into our computer, we get more from within the computer, and we also oftentimes can access better what's out there. What if our brain is our hardware and our DNA, our software? If we are, as I believe we are, actually restructuring the DNA, reconnecting from a 2-strand into a 12-strand process, and this concept's not so foreign to people any longer, then are we upgrading our software? Is that what is allowing us to become more multidimensional beings, meaning simply aware of what's out there? Who was talking to me through my patients? Someone, somewhere, on a plane other than was visible to any of us in that room. Someone exists. Somehow, when we come into communication with them, we are expanding and we are becoming more multidimensional. What's allowing us to do this? What gates are opening up? What curtains are opening up for us? What is making your finger move like that? What change is going on in our bodies? Something. Do I know what it is? No, I don't know what it is. And I think the ability and the willingness to say I don't know is what allows us to grow and expand as human beings. Because when we say we know the answer, we stop learning right there. When we say I don't know, it allows us to explore the what ifs to get the better answers, which aren't answers. They're really building blocks to better questions. I believe when you say, what is the reconnection? I believe that the reconnection is the bridge, our next step, while we're right here on the precipice of becoming 5th or more multidimensional beings as humanity.
And this is the journey the great teachers and prophets have been telling us for years, haven't they? And science is now backing that up.
It looked at one time as if science and religion walked in 2 opposite directions away from each other. It also looked as if the earth were flat, but it's not. It's round. And as they continued their journeys, they came back with gifts of insight and understanding for one another.